What's up, YouTube? Welcome to another episode of Living Room Talk.
Yay.
I'm Reggie, if you didn't know.
And I'm Jasmine.
And welcome back. Thank you for coming back to listen to us talk your heads off.
Yay.
Which is what we like to do.
Yeah.
Well, I like to do sometimes.
And me too sometimes.
A lot, maybe. I'm joking.
Okay.
Anyway, so basically what we're talking about today, our topic today is differences. And
Yeah.
mainly the differences that we have in our relationship that we realized from the beginning. And that we're still recognizing up until now, 4.5 years later.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of them for sure, I would say. But over time, we've learned to cope with that and complement each other because we were able to recognize what our differences and similarities were.
Yeah. So specifically discussing differences, I think it would be kind of perfect to talk about our backgrounds and how we grew up and all that good stuff because it was kind of polar opposites, I would say.
Yeah, for sure.
In a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So for me, I am from the South, from North Carolina, which is really, really great, and I loved growing up in North Carolina. But I come from a traditional Christian home, and of course being raised in the South, there's a lot of traditions with being Southern. So I don't want to say proper, because I mean there's Northerners that are proper, but you know what I mean. Just raised in the South. And so Reg over here was raised in the North.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm from Philly, which would be Northeast, of course, which is completely different from down South.
Yes.
I mean, you're raised with a completely different demeanor, mindset. Even the food is different. I mean, I would say one main difference, being from up north and then being from down south is probably the food. That's probably one of my biggest takeaways. I mean, we're always eating takeout Chinese food and pizza, and you guys just got fried chicken, macaroni and cheese, cornbread, the whole night.
Well, I never thought about that.
Yeah,
That's so true.
Yeah, I think about it all the time. But yeah, so I mean, my background pretty much was coming from, not the best neighborhoods, of course, and I moved around so much, can't even count the amount that I've moved around. But I had both of my parents in the same household for a few years, and then that changed after some time. So the funny thing is, though, one similarity is, I was in the church, raised in church as well.
Yeah.
But it kind of didn't reflect on me. I stayed in trouble, I guess. I was always getting in fights and, just being a menace, of course. So that would probably be like one of the main differences between us.
Yeah. So I think with touching on like how you were saying I don't want to call you a menace, but you were kind of rebellious when you were younger.
Kinda.
Me, I guess I was a good girl. I hate that label, side note, but whatever.
She was a good girl.
So I was a good girl.
Yeah.
Followed all
She
the
still
rules.
is.
Thanks. But now I've learned to embrace that because, want to call me a good girl? Great. Thank you, Jesus.
Exactly.
But yeah, so I was more of a good girl and I didn't really do much. And I wouldn't say my parents raised me in a bubble by any means because they taught me real world stuff and I just chose to kind of go down my own path of being good and just doing what I'm supposed to do. Why? I don't know. But yeah. And so from there, I think it's interesting that our worlds kind of collided because it's like the good girl is dating the bad guy. I don't want to call you a bad guy, but you know what I mean? Do you get what I'm saying?
What you trying to say?
You guys know what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, I was a good girl, and then I'm
I
dating
wasn't a
someone.
thug. I wasn't a thug.
No, he
I
wasn't
didn't
a
sell
thug.
drugs or
Yeah.
anything like
Yeah.
that. So what you trying to say?
I don't even know. Moving on. Moving on. So that's backgrounds.
Yeah.
I think just to start off. And, of course, I feel like there's many people who are in relationships and their backgrounds are different.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I mean, I just think it's great and I've learned to embrace it and I feel like it's important. It adds character to each of you. You learn different styles of the way people live, and then also you can learn, well, I was going to say different religions, but you shouldn't be. Anyway, I'm rambling. Anyways.
I think one huge thing is a lot of people think that they have to date someone who's exactly like them,
Yes.
like to the T, which is actually not true, not always true. Sometimes the best ones for you can be ones who's the complete opposite of you.
Yes.
Because then you learn to complement each other, and where you may lack in one area, they bring to the table. So
That's good. Yes.
yeah, so and then it's fun because then you're learning something that you're not used to, basically someone that's nothing like you, or someone that's has a lot of differences from you. It takes time to pretty much learn those differences, and it makes the relationship even more fun.
Yeah, and I think in another way, honestly, I feel like if I was in a relationship with someone that was exactly like me, I would go crazy because I'm always like super hype, on 10, like let's go. And I would go crazy. I'd be like, you're too much. And so it's awesome that I'm dating Reggie because he is so much more mellow than I am, and so we balance each other out. He definitely mellows me out. And speaking of personalities, I just feel like, with the whole introvert and extrovert thing, I think our situation is unique because it's not introvert and extrovert. I'm an extrovert for sure, but I feel like Reggie is more in the middle. So
yeah, that's definitely
yeah.
Another difference that we do have. I have my moments where I want to be just completely to myself, like skirt, don't talk to me.
Not to me specifically.
But I just want to be to myself.
Yeah.
And then I have my moments where, I just want to network. I want to interact with people, and
people are very drawn to him.
And I can talk and talk and talk.
Yeah.
And talk.
Yeah. So, and I think, and I think too, like with the whole him wanting to be to himself, that was a really big thing that I had to get used to, because I would take it personally and be like, oh my gosh, why doesn't he want to talk to me? Like, he's just being rude. But then now fast forward 4.5 years later, I just know he'll tell me, okay, babe, I'm kind of drained right now. I just kind of need some alone time. And in my mind, I get that. Like, I know what that means within our relationship. And so it doesn't mean that he doesn't talk to me, because I don't think that's right. But what he does is he basically takes maybe 2 hours, and we don't text, we don't call each other or anything, and he just takes time to himself, which is so good because it helps to refuel him, which allows him to be the best boyfriend that he can be. And so if you put it into that perspective for you guys or gals who are more extroverted and your partner is more in the middle, it's okay. Just let them do what they have to do, because if they're recharged, it makes for a better significant other, which makes for a better relationship.
For sure. I was just thinking about this, when you brought up, us getting better at letting each other know, hey, or me letting you know, hey, I just want my free time, my time to myself right now. Communication is a similarity that you have to have.
Yes.
So that is something that sometimes you have to use a similarity that's needed to kind of complement your differences, or to help your differences not become destructive, I would say.
Yeah.
So that's definitely something that we had to learn over time, and that we're continuing to learn. So me just being honest and being, keeping it a being like, yo, I just want to be to myself.
Yeah.
I just want to be in my room, just to myself, literally. It doesn't mean I'm mad at you. Doesn't mean I'm frustrated or anything like that.
Yeah.
I just want to be, in my own little zone sometimes. And then she's listening to the door, seeing what I'm doing still. Nah, but she's so outgoing and wants to be interactive and always next to each other and stuff and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I learned to pretty much accept that and take advantage of it, at times when, You know, even sometimes when I don't really feel like being that way. So we've kind of learned to cater to each other's differences in that way. For
Yeah.
Sure. What's another way? I mean, that we're different that you would probably say?
Okay. So I am extremely sensitive,
Oh yeah.
and I don't really know what to call the opposite of that. Because I don't want to say like you're hard or you're aggressive, because you're not any of those things.
I would just say I don't really show my feelings
Sure.
or my emotions too much.
Yeah.
Which is not a good thing. You know.
I wear my heart on my sleeve,
Yeah.
so it's like,
I mean, you want to have a balance pretty much.
yes.
So if you don't show emotions at all, that's definitely not a good thing, because you're definitely going to send the wrong signal to your companion, or the opposite.
Yeah.
But then if you wear your feelings on your sleeves too much, especially outside of your relationship, you are more liable, I guess, to
Get hurt.
get hurt, I guess.
And I think too, with me being so sensitive, I take things personally so easily, which is not a good thing, because like I said, reverting back to him being more in the middle of introvert and extrovert, where he needs time to himself, if he says something like, I need time to myself, I automatically flip that back on myself and be like, oh, like he doesn't like me anymore, he doesn't love me, he doesn't want to be with me, he doesn't like me as his girlfriend. Like all of these things, like all of these voices, and really my extroverts out there, silence that. It is okay. Like it is good to have separation and time apart. It is okay for your spouse, not your spouse, you're not married. Sorry. Your significant,
they could be
or could be
married.
married, yeah.
You never know.
Your significant other or your spouse to, I don't know what I'm saying here. For your significant other or your spouse to say something to you in honesty and in love, and you don't have to take it personally, which I'm seriously like really working on.
Yeah.
Really. Because I don't like anything he says to me that is not like, hey Jasmine, you're awesome. I'm like, okay, awesome. I love to hear that. One of my love languages, I feel like, is words of encouragement. And so when it's not encouragement and it's more constructive criticism, I'm like, I don't like that. I do not like that. So I started to take it personal. I'm like, what are you saying about me? How do you feel? So don't be like that. Don't be Jasmine. It's okay for your significant other or your spouse to express how they feel or to express how they want to be, and for you to be okay with that and not flip it back on yourself and think that there's something wrong with you.
For sure, for sure.
So
I think another difference that we have on a lighter side, let's
Yeah.
talk about some of the on a smaller scale differences that we have.
Yeah.
I would say like food, for instance. Like I think our taste in food, like I think there's been, just starting out when we first started out in a relationship, there was a lot of differences we had when it came to food.
I'm curious to see what this is.
For instance, like that I've actually picked up the habit of
Oh, I see where you're
my
going with
taste.
this. Okay.
On things that she likes. But I didn't grow up drinking, almond milk or 2% milk or wheat bread and stuff like that. I mean, stuff that we used to call, bougie or whatever. But what's another difference that we, on a smaller scale?
Yeah, that food thing was good. It makes me think of that J. Cole song. But anyways,
So,
oh, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. Can I say this? Can I say this on camera? I don't know, you might get mad at me. He bites his nails, and I don't. I loathe biting nails. And I just noticed as we were on camera, did you start biting your nails again?
there was a moment where I got nervous.
I knew. Okay, anyways, so that's another thing where it's like, but you gotta.
Listen,
Get
it is
through
a
it.
habit. I cannot
Yeah.
stop doing it.
Yeah. And that's another thing. Like, you really have to be, like, you have to pay careful attention.
I know.
to
Listen,
your-
I know I'm not the only one out there that bite my nails.
No, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is you have to pay careful attention to your spouse or mainly your significant other's habits. This is like before you get married. Because, I'm not saying biting nails. But let's just say, like, they're extra dirty or, like, they don't shower every day.
That's
but that's like, it's like, we need to reevaluate.
Is that kind of on a different scale? Like, I mean, that's just weird.
No, yeah, but what
It's
but what I'm saying is you have to prepare for marriage. I'm a big believer in dating prepares you for marriage, and so you have to look at your significant other's habits, because it's like, if you can live with that, great. And if you can compromise with that, great. But pay attention, because if you can't, girl or guy, I keep saying girl because that's how I talk to my friends. But you know what I mean? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that do make sense. Definitely, you definitely want to pay attention to the differences in the habits that your partner has, because if you're planning on being with that person forever, that's what you're going to have to deal with forever. And some of those habits, they change, they die off. Like, hopefully biting my nails can die off so she can stop bugging me about this.
But biting his nails is one of those things where I'm like, okay, I bought into it when I started dating him. So
anyway, but at the same time, there's some habits and differences that may not change, that person may keep, and you just have to get used to it and accept that person. Like, yo, this is who I choose to be with. This is who I choose to share my life with. This is who I choose to love. I mean, so being accepting of who that person is at the moment makes it better than, okay, potentially they can be this, or potentially they won't be doing this, so I'll just bank on that pretty much.
That's good, baby.
That makes it a lot tougher to actually get through your relationship when you're just banking on potential. What is potential? Potential is, I mean...
You need that tangible stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got a fine chocolate brother. It's not potential, it's there. You know what I'm saying?
She's right, though. But what's another difference that we should probably have? Music.
Oh, that is a good one. Music. That's a good one. Yeah. The thing is, I listen to any and everything. So you got like a little bit of Maroon 5 here. You got some Beyonce. You got some Migos. Okay, holla. Can I get some, what else? What else do I listen to? I listen to Ed Sheeran. I listen to Sam Smith. I listen to J. Cole. I listen to everything except for country. He did put me onto J. Cole. But I listen to everything except for country. Except for a few songs. I can't do it. All those country lovers out there.
You don't like Meek like that.
No, he yells too much. You know? But anyway,
definitely music. Even gospel music. We were just talking about this the other day. Like, I was listening to a gospel song, and she was like, babe, you just gotta have your soul. Like,
no, not in a bad way, because listen, I grew up in a black church, so I appreciate soul. But what I was saying was, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you got it. Go ahead.
But what I was saying was that I like gospel and I like contemporary Christian. Contemporary Christian, for those who don't know, is like K-Love. So light and airy, like, we love God.
She loves that.
You know what I'm saying?
She loves that. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. She like that.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I told her what it reminded me of. So the type of gospel music I listen to, she says it's a whole lot of soul in it, and it's like having seasoned food. It's like having food with seasoning on it, and then having food with no seasoning on it.
Right.
Contemporary to me, I like some contemporary songs as long as the words are meaningful. That's all that matters. But at the same time, it's hard for me to listen to that type of gospel because it's like having food with no seasoning on it.
But what I was saying
I need some Old Bay in there or something.
I'm weak. I like gospel for when I'm worshiping because it like has, I don't know. No, not saying that contemporary Christian does not have meaning, but it just like hits you in a certain place. Gospel does. But like if I'm driving down the road, it's a bright day outside, I'm just chilling. That's when I listen to contemporary Christian because I want something a little bit lighter. That's just me though.
Yeah.
But I listen to both. I'm very big like on music. I listen to everything. Like everything. You listen to, but he listens to a wide variety as well.
I do.
So it's like similarities, but differences at the same time.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. We both love music. That's definitely a similarity though.
Because I was gonna say, because he listens to classical, and I thought that was so cute. I was like, yes, I'm nice. But
listen, classical relaxes your mind. If you ever want to focus, study, whatever, like classical is the way to go for sure. Like it definitely gets your mind right for whatever you're trying to focus on. And people need to get hip to that, man. It's definitely something you shouldn't just leave to the babies to listen to in their crib and stuff.
I'm weak.
But I mean, there's so many differences that we definitely have for sure. And I just love that about this relationship at the same time, because we've actually learned to seek out those differences and learn to accept them. And that's
embrace them.
Yeah, for sure. And that's like the foundation, one of the foundations of our relationship, the fact that we're just different in so many ways. This is like the most legit and successful relationship I've been in, the longest I've ever been in a relationship, but yet this is the one relationship where I've had much more differences than similarities with my significant other.
Yeah, and I just feel like it has made us stronger, and it just makes it so much sweeter, because not only do we like actually love each other, but we genuinely like each other. So we're best friends. Like we hang out all the time. But yeah, no, really.
No, that is true though.
Really,
like, I really
seriously.
don't like hanging around people like that unless it's her.
That's so sweet.
I'm joking. I don't want people to think I'm not a people
weak.
person.
But no, really, yeah, it just really creates a really great relationship. And I think the biggest thing on having differences is compromise and communication. Say it with me. Compromise and communication.
Say
Seriously.
it one more time.
Compromise and communication. But I'm just kidding. but seriously. I'm literally so weak at Anyways, compromise and communication, because seriously, that has made our relationship so much better.
Good.
Because when we weren't doing that, it was a hodgepodge, it was a hot mess. We were always arguing, and then once we decided, hey, I'm actually in this relationship to serve someone else just as much as I'm trying to get something out of this relationship in myself, like,
Yeah.
you have to serve your significant other or your spouse. That's what you're in a relationship for, and that is what God designed relationships, like,
Right.
so that we can serve each other. And
Right.
so what better way to serve each other than to compromise and communicate with each other all the time?
Exactly. She
Hashtag compromise and communication.
Yeah, definitely. She definitely hit that on the nose. So, YouTubers, all you guys that are out there and girls who are out there listening to this right now, watching this right now, we definitely want to hear from you guys.
Yes.
Hear about what your differences are in your relationship, or even if you're single, think about a friendship that you have. You know, what are the differences that you have in that relationship or that friendship? Name some of them. It could be, you know, on a big scale to down to the bottom of the scale,
Yeah.
pretty much. I mean, I think recognizing those differences definitely makes the relationship a lot better. Would you agree?
Yeah, for sure. So comment that down below, like, subscribe, hit the bell so that you get notifications, and
Yeah, if you have any questions as well, definitely hit us up.
Let us know.
Definitely hit us up about different topics that you want to hear
Yeah.
us talk about. For sure, we want to hear back from you.
yeah, we're here to serve you. So.
Exactly, we're here to serve you. We may
Yeah.
have differences,
But we're serving each other. Compromise and communication.
Exactly. Say it one more time.
Compromise and communication.
All right, man, let's not get out of it.
I'm weak. Okay. Thanks for watching, guys, and we can't wait to see you back for more. We love you.